Okay, we're going to quickly go over how to use the insert that's compatible with Cubitos and also with Cubitos Fowl Play, the expansion for Cubitos. So right here we have a box of Cubitos. This has the insert inside of it, and it also has the additional components for the Fowl Play expansion. And you can see that the Fowl Play expansion adds a slight amount of lid lift, about maybe between 1/4 of an inch and 1/2 inch worth of lid lift. So very minimal, and that allows you to have all the components that you'll see in just a second, as well as adding the expansion. Now, if you don't have the expansion and you just have the normal Cubitos compatible insert, then there won't be any lid lift. Okay, so on the top we have the maps that you can play with. Again, if we didn't have the expansion, then you would be one less of these. There'd just be 2 that are sitting on the top. So we have 3, 1 from the expansion. Then these 2 go on here. These won't be here if you do not sleeve cards, and I'll show that in a minute. So those are right there. Then you've got your character cards as well as the track that you go around while playing. Instruction manuals. Okay, so now we get into the actual insert itself. So when you get the expansion, it allows you to play with 5 to 6 players. So 2 of these are dice trays that you can use while playing the game. They have a felt inside, and I'll show that in a minute. But 2 of these will not be present if you do not have the expansion. You won't need them. There'll be 4, so there's 6 total right now. There'd only be 4. So this is how it would fit when using the expansion. So these would not be there if you weren't using the expansion. It would look mostly like this. The other thing that you can see that's an additional part if you are using the expansion is these pieces right here, how they double. So when not using the expansion, it'll just look like this. There won't be this doubling. So these would all be lined up just like you see right now. The difference would be that there would be, another one of these over here. So these just allow everything to fit inside nicely, and we'll kind of go over what these do as well. So we have this here, and then one more dice tray is the lid, and this last dice tray acts as kind of a lid for all these to hold them in place. So even though this is an open box that you can actually use while playing, it also functions to be in the box, and I didn't show it when the lid was on, I should have, but you can store the box sideways, and you don't lose the positioning of anything. So that would go in there. These go down here only if you have the expansion. So if you have the expansion, you put these down here and this on top, and what that does is with the expansion, with the lid lift that's created, there's a slight lift in all of these. So normally when these aren't here, I'll kind of show you. So if this was out and this went in without that being there, and then the card box, which we'll show in a minute, this card box that you can still use if you don't sleeve, or it would be in the normal version. So this would be like that, and then a tray would go over the top. This right here is flush and level with these. But if you have the expansion, then we needed to get, there had to be this amount of height because the dice inside are a certain height. So in order to get this to fit, we had to lift it up just a little bit, and to make up the difference of that lift, just 2 of these stacked on top of each other makes up the difference. So when you have this in here, like that, and then that goes on top. This is slightly taller now than it was, and then when you put this on top, this is taller than these, but then when you put this on top, now it will sit flat. So just to clarify, if you're using the expansion, these will need to go on the bottom. If you're not using the expansion, then you'll just put these up at the top, kind of like you saw when we were first taking out the maps. So we'll set this aside. And these are the two colors that come with the expansion. These are the two new colors. All the other colors come with the core set. So there's that. And then you'll have to do the same thing to one other one. So that way you can fit in the same amount of space 10 instead of 8 like there was. And then we'll talk about this with the cards. So you can take out all these. These are all the different colors. And then in the bottom now we have 3 more dice trays. So depending on the player count that you have, you've got a dice tray. You have a dice tray for every player. So we'll take these out and we'll take a look at how you would use all of this. Okay, so when playing a game, let's see if we can just set it up and show you how quickly we can set it up too. Let's say if we were playing with, I don't know, 2 players, just to make it simple for us right now. We'd take a map. Lay the map out. And then we can take a dice tray per player that's playing. Just like this. And then we can grab one of each of these. We just place those in front. And then the track that you can help you out while you're playing. We can actually set this just right here. This can actually go, it's got some art too, as if it was stands that are watching. This can just go on the end like that, and then you can grab the tokens that you need while playing the game. The cards, you wouldn't need to keep these out on the board. You'd just select the ones that you need, but we'll do that in a sec. As we set up, again, this would just be for unsleeved. And then these, if you need to use them to remember, you can actually just set them in like this if you want, and then flip them. And then people around the table can still see which phase that you're on if you want, or you could set it up like that, or you could put it to the side, whatever you want to do. When I play, I usually set it just at an angle like this. And then when you're rolling, it still doesn't get in the way. It doesn't take up any more table space. So let's get these out. Okay. I'm just going to set these down for now because I'll show you how they can be used in different configurations in a minute, but just to show the setup. Okay, and then grab cards for each one. I'm not going to pick, I'm just going to grab one from each color. And there's a little slot on the sides of these that allows you to just place a card in and it'll hold it upright. Now that we have each one of those out, now we're actually almost ready to play. Now the next step would be to grab the dice that you need for each player. Okay, so now let's talk about the dice holders. So if we move this out of the way for now, or even actually let's keep it out so you can kind of see. If this was here and then over here is where we were putting the dice, like we had it set up before. One thing that I made it so you could do is if you have limited table space, is the lid that you can slide on top of these to store your dice inside of the box. The lid that you can slide on top of these to store them inside of the box can actually also be taken off and used as a tower. And then what you'll find is that if you use one of them, that actually covers up kind of the graphic in the front. I didn't like that, so what I made happen is so that you can use another tower. So this is the lid of this one, and then if you use the lid of this one and put it on the bottom, then now we can set that up like that, and we could have 4 in front, and then actually get 4 in the back here. So I'll show one more example. Okay, so you can see how you could have all of them presented, and now you've really limited the amount of space that's required to have these out. You could even offset them like this. So it makes it a lot easier for you to see what the dice do and be able to use them. Let's get this up so you can see it a little bit better. With the expansion, since we have another set, or two sets of different dice, with these you'd have to put them on the outside edge. And you could put them in one of these towers to prop them up if you wanted to, and there should be another one. So these would have to go on the outside edge. They don't have a tower that stacks them up unless this is included in it. These won't fit in the box. You'd have to store them separately if you want to, but there is another set of 2 that comes with the insert. There's another set of 2 that comes with the insert, so if you wanted to, you would be able to do it the same way that you did the other ones and have another tower where this is in front of that one. Or if you just kept them on the sides, you could do that. However you want to do it. There are enough of these that if you want to set them aside or store them in a different box or something like that, they do come with it, but they won't fit in the original box. So that's how these towers work. Just allows for accessing these to be really easy. Your color is obvious. You know, there's foam here that actually displays the color of the dice as well. And then let's talk about one of the last things here that are in the insert is the cards. So this is the box that comes with the original Cubitos game, and this actually fits all the cards sleeved. If you take out the expansion cards, so this will fit the original game's cards sleeved just like that, and then that goes in the box how you had seen it before with the dice tray lids. And this also will work if you have the expansion and you don't sleeve your cards, then this will actually still fit everything. And so this comes with it just in case you sleeve, but if you don't sleeve, I'd actually just keep this one, and I'll show you how things go away differently if that's the case. So with the dice trays, if this was inside the box, then this would have gone in here like this, and then this would go on the side. This is how it fits if we're doing the expansion, or if we're doing the core box, and you can see that it just fits flush and holds everything in place just like a lid. So this is how it would normally fit inside the box. But if you have the expansion, we need just a little bit more height. So what we'll do is what we showed you before. You can actually just use these. So if you take 2 of them and stack them on top of each other like this, then this would go in like that. And you can see again, this is going to create a slight gapping or lift there that's necessary for you to fit this box. So these are going to fit flush like that if you have those 2 token markers or round markers in there. And then if you want to keep the old box, which I would do if I didn't sleeve, if you want to keep the original core game box in here, it's too short. And so the solution there would be just take the other 2 that you have from the expansion now. So there's 2 high here, and then there's a single over here. Set that in there, and that in there, and now we've flushed it up. And we still have a little gap. So that's how it goes in with or without the expansion, whichever one you have. And then I'll show you guys one more time just how to clean it up and put it all away. If you guys have any questions too about any of this, feel free to write them down below and we'll try to answer them for you. Hopefully this makes sense and makes setup and takedown of this really fun game a lot easier. So we'll take this out. I do have the cards sleeved, so I'll have to use the sleeved cards box. So I'll show you how to put this away with that, but hopefully you guys understand how to do it otherwise. So this one's actually not necessary. These two are not necessary if you have the expansion, and then there's actually two more of these that won't fit in if you want everything to fit in the expansion box, but you still be able to set everything up just fine. So get the core box. We're going to place these dice trays in the bottom of it. And we should be able to start collecting these. We're going to need to put all of these cards away. And I don't know how you guys store them, but I like to store them with their color. So I'll do that really quick. Just get these back in with their color. Okay, so we've got all the cards put away now. So these are just going to go in just like that. We're going to need 4 of these stacked 2 high here. And then we're going to grab this. Let's put the things away that we had taken out. They should just fit in here just fine. Super easy cleanup here. This will go right there. And then we'll take a dice tray and put it on as a lid. And now we've got these are already put away, so we'll slot these in just like that. And we'll need to pick 2 colors and they'll have to go in like this. This should hold pretty good. They'll get looser as you use them, but you can always pick them up like this. So if we put that in there, we'll have to take these ones and use these tower parts as a lid now. You can also, if you want, alternate these, and that makes it so it doesn't fit in quite as tight. Makes it a little easier to get them out if you'd like to do it that way. I haven't had a problem taking them in and out, but just in case you do. Okay, we got everything put away, just like that. Take another dice tray, that's a lid there, another dice tray, that's a lid there. Then we're going to grab the instructions, put those on the top, throw these in here, just kind of split them up. just like that. Put these in like this, and then we'll have to set these in there. And that's how everything fits. And then again, you can store it horizontally if you'd like to. Again, there is some lid lift, but it's still enough that it holds well. And everything is pretty much intact anyway with its own lid with the dice trays. So I mean, you can shake this up and everything stays in place. And then let me just show you really quick, if you decided that you don't want lid lift and you want to keep the expansion material separate, you can totally do that too. So I'll show you how to do that really quick. So we'll take this off. And let's set aside the expansion maps. I believe those are the right ones. This is the core game, and then we would need, I believe it's green and purple. These two come from the expansion. That, you need 2 of those. So these are all core game components. Rulebook for the core game, rulebook for the expansion, and we're going to need 2 of these dice trays. We're going to need this. Technically go, because now with the additional towers you could put those on top and have these fit in here, and I'll show you that. So this is how the core game would normally fit inside the box. That's going to be expansion. This is going to be expansion. These 2 pieces go with the expansion. And I'll show you, since we're doing this, how the core game would actually go away. Get out all these cards. And this. You wouldn't use this at all if you're going to use the expansion box. So instead we would use this. So these go in here, and I believe there are a couple of these that are new that go with the expansion. So technically there would be some of these cards. Let's see, there should be 8. I believe there's 8 cards that come with the expansion instead. So if those weren't present, and there might be a couple more, I'm not sure, of additional cards that come with the expansion. So this would fit if those aren't in there, and that would fit in here. So this would be how the core box would normally, this is how the core box would normally be stored. Just like this. And then you'd be able to place that on top. These in here. Your maps in here. And then store this. Oh, throw these in here too. So this is normally how everything would fit inside, and this has no lid lift at all. We can set that aside. Now we can pull over our foul play shorter box. Place the dice trays inside. Actually, we will need to just throw these in first, just like that. And then now these dice trays will fit in just like this. Fit those in like that. The cards you'll actually just set in here. And then these won't fit in this box. These are 2 extras that again will come Same thing I was describing before. If you want to hold on to these, you can. They just come just in case you want them. And these we could just throw in here. And then now throw this here, this on here. Oh, sorry, let me show you this. Because it actually, the way it's set up with these two like that, is this will fit in just like that. And then the way that this fits in, it actually just perfectly fits between this and this right here. And then this can go on top. And you can keep this box if you'd like. This will actually hold everything in place as well. So there you have it. There's the two different ways that you can store either the Cubitos core box game with the insert or the Cubitos Fowl Play expansion for the insert. Either way that you like to do it, or whatever you own, you'll be able to configure it either way. And again, if you have any questions or comments that you'd like to share, things that you like or didn't like, we'd love to hear your guys' feedback, and that'll help us to either improve this one or improve inserts in the future. Thanks so much for watching.